What are the chances you've met someone you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life? If that reopens old wounds, I apologize. It was hard for me to even utter those words because of the possibility. It may be true. The butterfly effect matters so much because you doing a backflip today could lead to a crater being in that exact same spot. Or you meeting a cute girl in college or passing by in a store or street could be your wife in disguise, and you'd never know. Even in a futuristic world like this, old human habits die hard, like doom scrolling or solving problems that are easy for you to figure out. Meet Nanyang and Jay. Nanyang is an astroscientist trying to turn into an astronaut, and Jay is a tinkerer who wanted to make music. Music that Nanyang has heard before and that she loves. Humans have a lot of things that they love. Sometimes pets, sometimes people, and sometimes dreams. Even though these two people meet by chance, they both are chasing their dreams. Nanyang is smart beyond her time. Her adventures and her passions will take space travel to different heights. But she has trauma that no doctor or friend could have picked up. Her mom passed in a space station collapse on Mars, and she was too little to even know or understand why she should even care about it, but it's slowly chipping away at her armor. Jay noticed her freezing in an interview and spoke up about it immediately, meaning he picked up what no doctor could even pick up, or at least that she hid that from the doctor and he was able to see it. So when they got together, they exchanged stories about their childhood. We learn why Jay gave up his music and why Nanyang fell in love with Mars, because she wanted to feel special, and Jay lets her know that she doesn't have to go to Mars for that. Because of him, if nobody else, she to him is really special. She tried to tell Jay that she couldn't even be his girl. She has things that she needs to do. If she gets called to Mars, she can't have things that attach her to this planet. She can't have things that hold her back. But the feeling of love was too strong. The connection was too strong. They had so much in common, although they were moons apart. They both had a dream, and they both have hopes, and they both have trauma. Even though it's super different, it was close enough to close that distance that they didn't even realize was there. With a famous star sailor as a girlfriend, it was bound for them to find a love for stars together. But the more they dive into space, the more her universal trauma expands. The great thing about having a significant other that you can tell anything to is they become your safe space. She can tell him anything, and she can confide in him. She can hide her darkness in him for him to shed some light on. I mean, while cuddling with him, she found a solution to her biggest problem. Not only is it groundbreaking for her, but for space travel as a whole. Even though Nanyang is finding discoveries, Jay, on the other hand, is closing himself off. Music isn't who he is anymore, but because Nanyang wants to see him live, he breaks open that shell. Even though he wants to do this for her, it's hard. His anxiety and trauma is eating him alive. Even though he tries his best to perform, he can't. Right after that show, Nanyang finds out a secret, which as a viewer, you can only assume that means that she's going to Mars, which is her dream, so you can't help but feel happy for her. The problem is she told Jay in that night it was a secret and never actually told him what it really was. So the way that he finds out is from a broadcast 3 days later saying that she's leaving him. But she worked her whole life for this, right? You have to be happy for her, right? But Jay found out what happened to her mother. What tragedy took place on Mars all that time ago. And now he sees a real depth of her trauma. And now both of them are scared. Jay is scared of losing somebody he cares deeply for, scared of her leaving him, and scared of her going to Mars. But Nanyang has been training for this her entire life. She's been studying for this her entire life. So there's nothing Jay can say to make her stay on the ground. So they break things off. Not only because she didn't tell him, but because he can't bear to see her go, because it's a chance that she might never come back. Even with that reality facing them, he tracks her down, and even though he's not fully on board with the plan, he reconnects with her and tells her to do everything in her power to come back to him. She promises that she will, and just like that, she's off, past the moon, past the stars, and fully into space. With her in space, one step closer to fully living out her dream, Jay decides it's time to move forward for himself too. But not only for himself, but for her. He finishes his song, he reunites with his band, he even signs song deals. And all the meanwhile, Nanyang gets closer and closer to Mars, and when she finally lands, she lets him know Beyond the Starlight is his #1 fan cheering him on. Sadly, I only realized the seriousness of this situation after it got worse than I thought it could. Nobody knew that this was gonna happen, and there's no way that she could have known that tornadoes were on Mars. That's like living in Florida and then the worst hurricane of history hits. Like, yeah, there's a possibility of that happening, but you never think it would happen to you until it does. After being hit dead on by a tornado, she was lucky to be in a situation that she was even in, but it still sucks no matter what. With 10 minutes of air left in her suit and her damn near trapped 2 hours underground, it was inevitable that her last words the message that she recorded to Jay started playing. She was telling him to live his life, telling him to use his beautiful voice to make himself known, and that even though she's gone, he has a fan beyond the starlight cheering for him. And as heartbreaking as it is, as her voice fades, he finds his. He sings about finding her love and finding her heart throughout the stars. Happy endings don't always exist sometimes. They only exist when miracles happen. And in this scenario, a miracle did happen. She found the place her mom resided in when she was on Mars all that time ago. The only place on Mars 2 hours underground because of the collapse with breathable air. She was saved. She had hopes. She had dreams. And now she can live with Jay, who has all of those same things. But like I said, the butterfly effect is real, because had anything been a little different, life could have changed and things drastically could have ended in a different scenario. If she never bumped into that shelf, she would have never met Jay. If she had never had the dream to go to Mars to follow her mom's footsteps, she would have never gotten to be there in the first place. And if she had 2 minutes less of air, she would have been the only one lost in Starlight. I know I just said it, but lost in Starlight. It's crazy how the butterfly effect works. And I know this show or this movie has nothing to do with the butterfly effect, but I just kept seeing it. It showed, like, as soon as the movie started, it kind of like took a place out of that book. You feel me? It kind of showed us that everything that transpired because of like what happened when they were kids, what happened when they were kind of growing up through the world, and what happened because of their dreams and the reality of what they were doing happened because of the choices that they made. You know, if she never bumped into that shelf, would we have ever seen Jay? Would she have ever even survived? Because in the vision that she had when she was running out of air, Jay is the reason that she pushed forward and she got a hold of that staircase and kept pushing into the building, you know? So without Jay, would she have the motive to live? I'm so serious when I say that. Like, it could have gone any way. It could have gone either point. And it's the fact that the butterfly effect, bro, she could have done anything. She had already lost her mom. Her dad, I don't know if he's gone crazy or if he's just like he's lost his wife in a crazy once in a million crash on a different planet. Like, that's insanity. And for him to be in the state that he's in, it makes sense for him to be in that state, because anybody would, you know, losing somebody you love changes you forever. And for the people that have just fought with their parents or have just like fought with their siblings or fought with somebody they love, mend it, bro. Text them right now and say I love you, bro. Even if they're the person that did something wrong, just text them right now and say I love you, bro, because you truly never know. The butterfly effect is so crazy. They can sneeze hard as hell and that's it. That's all, folks. They're gone. And this show really lets you know, like, it doesn't have to be this crazy. Anything can happen to anyone at any point, and that little thing can lead you either to your loved one, your significant other, your couple, your bae, your boo thing, or it can lead to the end of the road, or it can lead to a promotion, or it can lead to you getting a new car, or you being a millionaire. You know, what made it so I became a YouTuber? You know, what made it so I was sitting down in this gaming chair talking to you guys with anime figurines in the background, talking about a different anime? What made it so I liked anime? What made it so we live the life that we're choosing to live? You know, was it something that happened to you at school, when you were a kid, when you were grown? Like, that's what Lost in Starlight really like teaches me, is that anything is possible, anything is a reality, and anything can happen. And it all trickles down from one choice that you decide to make a few years ago, or even in that moment. You know, some people woke up and had dreams like that they chose to follow, bro. This is mine. This YouTube shit and Twitch stuff and all the other content creation stuff that I do, that's my dream that I'm choosing to follow. And maybe that's gonna lead me to my wife. Maybe that's gonna lead me to people that I would have never met had I never decided to do this. And then maybe you want to become a lawyer, and you're gonna meet people that you would have never met had you never decided to do that. And that's not even for a lawyer, that's for anybody watching this video. Your life could be decided from one choice, and that's how crazy life is. You know, that's how crazy Everything is like, you could go to Walmart and be in the most stinkiest outfit with no deodorant on, and you could run into your husband or run into your wife and they would be like, oh hell nah, and walk away from you, and you never know. Like, wow, it Lost in Starlight just may be a 9.8 or maybe even a 10 out of 10 just for that reason, because it teaches you like to cherish everything that you already cherish, and if you find something that you cherish, fight for it, because you never know when that it can go away. It can go away just like that. And that's really, I feel like, what Lost in Starlight is about. But how do you guys feel about Lost in Starlight? I have so much I want to say, but I have been told I ramble too much. So I'm gonna end the video here, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, then hit the like button. It really helps a long way. Like, you hitting the like button could lead to me being the next Markiplier. That, I'm just saying, I mean, help a guy out, you feel me? It could drastically change my life, I'm just saying. But I love you guys. Thank you for watching this video. And other than that, I have nothing else to say, but peace.